Am I the asshole do not want a service dog to participate in my wedding? Throwaway. I'm 28F, I'm getting married in the spring. I've asked one of my best friends to be one of my bridesmaids. She has a service dog for PTSD. I respect her dog and glad she has it in her life. My fiancé and I don't particularly care for dogs, and we've decided we don't want her service dog in our photos or in the ceremony. When I asked her, she got excited and immediately said her dog could wear something to match the rest of the bridesmaids. That's when I explained that the dog could come to the wedding, but wouldn't be an active participant in the day. We don't want it in photos or in the ceremony. It could go to photos but not be in them. It'll be off to the side for the 10-15 minute ceremony. In preliminary discussions with our photographer we brought this up. She did not take it well. Called me an asshole and ableist, and it was not a constructive conversation after the ask. She hasn't accepted my offer to be a bridesmaid, but also hasn't declined formally. Am I the asshole? I'm probably going to get downvoted to hell, but I have a service dog. I was also Mo in my beef's wedding. My service dog was sat in the front row with her family during the ceremony and wasn't included in the formal pictures. It wasn't a constant thing, it was 15 minutes here and 5 minutes there. I could still see my dog and she could see me. She still alerted just fine when I was feeling overwhelmed. It's not a huge ask to not have the dog be part of the ceremony. Keep the dog in the front row and off to the side during formal pics. Bride needs to decide if she's willing to take the chance that there will be a meltdown because her PTSD may be triggered. Friend needs to decide the same. I'm too European for this. Not the asshole. Not the asshole. You said you're okay with your friend having the dog at the wedding, just did not want the dog to be an active participant in the wedding ceremony and photos. I feel like everyone voting YTA did not read the post fully and assumed the bride does not want the bridesmaid to bring the dog at all. And that is clearly not true. The bride says the dog at the wedding, to the side, is fine. But to be an active participant in the wedding ceremony and the photos is not. The bride doesn't want the dog on the photo, so why does she need to have photos with the dog to placate her friend? It's not her friend's wedding and it's not the friend who is paying for the photos either. So many commenters lack reading comprehension. You didn't say that the service dog couldn't be present to do its job, just that you didn't want it to be an active participant in the ceremony or in the photos. Not the asshole. Not the asshole. You're not preventing her service dog from going. You just don't want it in pictures. It would be the same as not letting her date be in your pictures if they aren't part of the wedding. I am confused at all. You are the asshole. The bridesmaid can decline to participate. All the bride has requested is that for 15-20 minute intervals, the dog be 20 feet away from the service or photos. If that's not possible, just say so. Why is she an asshole for not wanting to stand next to a dog while saying I do? Am I the asshole for refusing to pay my friends back for dinner? For context, myself, 2 other guys and 3 girls went out to eat at a steakhouse today. Not a date type of thing at all. Simply grabbing food after hanging out. The 2 guys both got 16-ounce steaks while I opted for a more modest 8-ounce. The girls all got food as well as alcohol, which we all know runs pretty expensive at restaurants. When we were finished eating, the waiter came over and asked if we wanted split checks. Before anyone could think about it or consult, my one friend immediately said, "Nah, just one check." The girls looked pretty shocked and I just looked over with a, "What the fuck dude," kinda face. The other friend is kinda shy and just went along with what the first guy said. The tab came out to be $164, and the guy who opted for one check didn't even have enough funds on his card to pay for it. So the other guy paid and we would Venmo him back. Even after this, the girls insisted on paying us back for the food, and were pretty firm about it. But guy number 1 continued to shut them down and kept saying, "Nah, we got it." It's nighttime now and he's demanding me to Venmo $55 to cover my share of the tab. I explained how it wasn't fair that he essentially volunteered me to pay for their food. I got the least expensive meal out of the 6 of us, and yet I'm paying as if I ordered half the menu. I'm getting shit for it and being told to just suck it up and pay. Oh, and by the way, we're all college students. Personally, I'm paying back loans as we speak and working part-time. I intentionally order smaller meals at restaurants and rarely go out. Now I'm expected to just throw $55 out the window for no reason. Am I the asshole? What kind of steakhouse is only $164 for 6 people, with alcohol? That's cheap AF. Not the asshole. Dude was trying to impress girls with money he didn't even have. Not the asshole. Visit the steakhouse's online menu. Look at the cost of your items. Add in taxes and a generous tip. And Venmo your ex-friend that amount. You don't volunteer other people to pay for food they didn't eat. Venmo him exactly as much as you would have paid originally and say it was so nice of him to cover the ladies on his own. Only $164.00 for 2 16-ounce steaks. an 8 ounces steak, whatever 2 entrees the girls got, and alcohol. What kind of steakhouse was this? Not the asshole for not helping pay for the girls' meals, but you should Venmo the cost of your meal. Not the asshole your friend created an entirely different social situation than the one you agreed to, screw him, he can pay. Not the asshole. Venmo him for your share only, tell him what he does about the rest is up to him. He volunteered to pay, you did not. Am I the asshole for asking my in-laws to pre-plan and prepay for their funerals? My husband's parents live with us, in our home, rent-free. Until recently, my FIL's primary entertainment was using his SS income to go to the casino. Now, he's unable to go by himself, and my mother-in-law has taken over his finances. She's concerned that he has too much money in his account to qualify for Medicaid, because it's been building up over the past few months. I suggested that she pay for their cell phone bill, or that she meet with our local funeral director and start planning for their funerals, because it would be considerate to us. My daughter told me that I was being mean. I told her that my own grandmother had done just that, and we enjoyed a lovely luncheon at a restaurant afterward with family. But I did send my mother-in-law a text with some funeral home pre-planning information. Is my daughter right? Was I a jerk for suggesting she spend money by pre-paying for her own funeral? I'm sorry, but this made me laugh so hard. Not the asshole, and it's a good idea, but damn, I think, please plan your own funeral, really needs to be delivered by the blood kid and not the in-law. Not the asshole. Funeral planning is smart and takes the burden off of your grieving family. Everyone dies. When my mom took her dad's driver's license off him, due to medical issues, he sold his car and mom made him prepay for his funeral with the money from the car sale. He had no other money and neither do my mom's siblings, she's the eldest of 8. She knew that if he died without prepaying for a funeral, she would be stuck with the costs, and she point blank refused to do that. Her siblings gave her a bit of shit for making him prepay, but when he died earlier this year, everything was taken care of already and mom wasn't out of pocket. The siblings couldn't complain either because the funeral plans were exactly what he wanted and no one else. Make them prepay for their funerals. As someone who just had to pay for my ex-husband's cremation and funeral so our kids wouldn't have to, I'd say that pre-planning these things is a kindness. As soon as this funeral is over, I am also going to prepay for my cremation. Not the asshole. People prepay for their funerals all the time. Your daughter is just too young to be familiar with the practice. Not the asshole. They need to keep their balances low enough to qualify for Medicaid, and it's a good way to do that. It locks in prices, and it ensures the funerals are done the way they want them done. This seems to be a win for everyone. Am I the asshole for telling my husband to wipe better after pooping? My husband, 39 male, and I, 39 female, are in a days-long fight about his toilet habits. We've been married for 13 years. It has not been all rainbows and sunshine, so we've been going to couples counseling for a few months now. The argument: sometimes when I go to the bathroom, I see that my husband pooped but forgot to flush. I didn't say anything at first because he works hard and he's a busy man. However, it started happening more frequently the past couple months. Once, twice a week I'd find his poo in the toilet, so I finally brought it up. Just like, hey, this scenario has been happening more lately. Not a big deal. Please try to remember to flush. He was apologetic and said he would make an effort. Cool. Less than a week later, I went to the bathroom and got another brown peekaboo. No poop, but a bunch of toilet paper streaked with poop was sitting in the toilet. So I told my husband, "You forgot to flush again." He replied, "Oh, yeah, I guess I did leave a bunch of toilet paper in the toilet. Sorry about that, it won't happen again." I replied, "No, it wasn't just toilet paper. It was a bunch of poopy toilet paper." I wanted to be clear about what the problem was. I didn't want him to think I was just nagging about some lingering plain clean TP in the toilet. I feel like he has a history of downplaying or invalidating concerns that I voiced to him, and I didn't want that happening in this situation. He got defensive after I clarified that. It seemed like he wanted to explain why there was poopy TP, but no poop. Personally, I didn't really think much about that until he brought up that point. He shouted, "Do I have to spell it out for you?" Exclamation mark quote. I was like, I guess so. I don't think there's a super obvious reason for a bunch of poopy TP hanging out on its lonesome. And I don't like the condescending aggressive tone you're speaking to me with. He continued yelling about how sometimes he doesn't get fully clean after pooping and initial wiping, so his butthole ends up feeling itchy later in the day, and so he'll wipe it before getting in the shower. Hence, the poopy TP that he forgot to flush. From there, it totally blew up into a screaming match. I told him that he should just properly wipe his butt immediately after pooping. At some point in the yelling, he accused me of trying to shame and embarrass him. I said, "Well, that's not my intent, but yeah, a grown adult should be properly wiping after going to the bathroom." And I know I would certainly be embarrassed if I was URN. WTF? Quote. We haven't really been speaking for a few days. He said he's sorry, but also thinks I should apologize, and he's being aggressive about it. It was never my intent to make him feel badly. But I'm unwilling to apologize when he's being so aggressive and accusatory. Yesterday, he told me in anger that I need individual therapy for my behavior. Considering our current work in couples counseling, I think we both could have been nicer during this exchange. Am I the asshole? AITA. We have wet wipes next to the toilet, and a covered garbage bin in the bathroom for disposal. I'm pretty certain that he doesn't use the wipes. Not sure why not. Please be fake, please be fake, please be fake, loudly crying, heartbreak, heartbreak. The bar is on the floor. I can't believe straight women are willing to marry grown men who cannot wipe their asses. Not the asshole. Your counselor deserves a raise. Not the asshole. But you're saying he wipes so poorly, that he has to go back and wipe more and produces a lot of visibly very poopy TP, implying that he wasn't at all clean to start with, and he implies that's a somewhat regular occurrence. But you didn't notice this in any other way, like smell or skid marks. And it seems really unlikely that he innocently started forgetting to flush the toilet all the time after pooping. That sounds like some kind of passive-aggressive bullshit. If it is possible for you to get pregnant, make really certain that does not happen, because you definitely don't need a second poopy baby in your life right now. Why do so many grown men not know how to properly wipe their asses? I don't even think the largest issue here is the toilet troubles. It's how he decided you bringing up a concern in a frank way, even polite considering the circumstance, and you were still concerned about coming across as a nag. Then he screamed and blew up about it rather than reflecting like an adult that it is fucking weird he cannot wipe his ass nor flush at his grown age. He should be sorry. And he is making himself the victim here. And somehow the therapist told you both could handle it better? You need a better therapist. In the meantime, please read Why Does He Do That? By Lundy Bancroft. There are PDFs available for free online, and it's also pretty widely available as an audiobook. Not the asshole. I do want to share though that certain issues, like hemorrhoids, can actually hide some poop internally a bit that you will wipe clean over and over, then during the day it can unfortunately leak out and you end up itchy with dirty wiping. Just sharing that he may actually be doing a normal cleaning and have a structural issue to see a doctor about. However, his mannerism on his reaction are not acceptable.